Hi everyone. Now it's the fun part. Hi everyone, my name is Tamara. I'm 20 years old, I'm from Namibia, and I'm a model with SALSA. Today I'll be getting ready for a casting shoot. One of the first things that I start doing from the beginning to get ready for my casting starts from the day before when it comes to my sleep. I make sure that I get at least my 8 hours in because it's super important so that you don't have any eye bags, your face just looks a bit better. And then I also emphasize on drinking a lot of water. I try to make sure that I drink at least 2 liters the day before a shoot, and then the day of the shoot, just water before. The first thing I'm doing today is starting with my makeup. So usually when it comes to getting ready and doing my hair and my face, I always start doing my hair first so it's out of the way, and then all the dirt and bacteria that comes on your hair doesn't go onto your face when you start getting ready. So I usually straighten my hair because I don't have a very defined curl pattern, so it's easier to highlight what you have. And I have straight hair, so I usually airbrush it and then I straighten it. So I've grown out my hair for a few years now, so it's one of my features that I like to highlight and emphasize. But when it comes to the face, I need my hair out of my face. Usually I go in with a double cleanser, with a hydrating oil cleanser, and then I go in with a hydrochloric face wash just to get all that excess oil off my face because I suffer with really oily skin. But then after that, I like to prep my skin with a really good moisturizer. That's my number one thing that I do, is always moisturize to the gods. And then my first step is always the skin. I don't do my eyes, I don't do my lashes, none of that. I always start off with my skin prep. And when it comes to casting, you always want to do it a bit more simple, a bit more clean, because you want to step into the casting room and have the people, the clients, looking at your face and seeing the most clean canvas that they can. If you do too much, you usually block what people can see. And usually when you have a clean face, they can see what they can do with your face, because some jobs require you to have a bit less makeup or a bit more makeup, which is a bit more heavier. So I like to go in with my favorite concealer of all time, which is the Hourglass. I love it. Love, love, love it. I always do it on the back of my hand just so that there's no transfer of bacteria. I don't like playing with my face at all. With this concealer, a little goes a long way, so I don't usually use that much. And you also don't want to use too much makeup when it comes to getting ready for your casting. Before we start that, you want to clean up your eyes. So I usually start with my under eye bags, or it's just a bit more darker. So I always go in with a brush. I just find it a bit more easier, and it picks up a bit less product than like a beauty blender would, or working it in with your finger. After I go in with a brush, I go in with a finger to pick up any excess product, because any excess product goes and sits in your crease lines, and with a camera and with a flash, they can get highlighted. Okay, I usually go in with the first layer. Usually that's enough for me, but sometimes you want a little bit extra, especially here in the inner corners, because it does get a bit darker than the rest. But I suffer from a little bit of redness in the inner corners of my nose, so I like to cover that up a little bit so that I don't have a pink ring around my nose. And then with your concealer at the bottom by your nose, I like to connect it so that it's not a spot of concealer where you go through your cover-ups. You try and blend it as best as possible with your skin. I go in and I cover up any acne scars, any dark marks, any beauty marks that are a bit too bright that I don't want to get emphasized that much on the camera. As you can see, it's a little bit light, so you can still see. One thing that I really love about this concealer is that you can build on it. And You can go on and on and on until you get the perfect coverage that you want. It's a very high coverage concealer as well, which I like because I suffer from really dark marks. On certain areas where I'm a bit redder, like on my nose, I also go in with a bit of concealer just to get that color a bit more even. Okay, now that the concealer is done, I start from the top of my face and then I work my way down. So usually I do my eyebrows next. I have very thick eyebrows, so I tweezed it, I cleaned it up, and I also cut a lot of the hair so it's not too long. But because I have such thick eyebrows, I need to use a hair gel to hold them in place, because if I don't, then they'll go everywhere. And then also something about me is I like having very dark eyebrows. So even though I have pitch black eyebrows, I still color them in and make them look a little bit thicker. But I do go in with a brown eye pencil, so it isn't harsh. Just the tops here so that they look a bit more even. Okay, before I forget, it's fine if you let your concealer sit for a little bit, especially this one, because it takes a bit more time to build that coverage. But then I go in with a powder. This is just a basic powder that I found. It just helps for the caking and setting of the concealer, because if you don't, it moves into your crease lines, it moves around, it doesn't sit right. And I always put it in the palm of my hand just so that there's no excess bacteria transfer. And then I also just do a very light layer, nothing too crazy. And then sometimes you'll see little spots pop out that are a bit too visible, but it's okay. Then we do our eyelashes. I have a technique for this because I love my long lashes. I go in and I try and get it really by the root first, and then I do both eyes, root, and then I come back and I do a layer on top of the lashes just to give it an extra bit of volume. I make sure I get the root again, and then I go on to the rest of my eyelash. I always try and get a little bit of my lower lashes, not too much, but just a little bit, so it accentuates your eye a little bit more instead of having to put on eyeliner, which might be a bit too dark for casting. Those are the lashes. Obviously, you always need to clean it up. I think that's the most important step when it comes to eyelashes. I have really long eyelashes, so they like to get the top of my eyelids. So I like to clean it up to make sure there's no... Okay, and then also, with time, your concealer will start sitting in your creases. So you just go in with a Q-tip and just clean it up. That is just excess product that has come. For lips, I don't do anything crazy personally. I just use my go-to Carmex. It's the only lip stuff that works for me, and it's like a little gloss. And then I go in with a like lip tint, lip oil, just a little red. It doesn't color your lips 100%, but you can mix it in with your Carmex, and it just adds a little pink. Just a little pink. And then that is that. You can add, this is something that I have started doing that I really enjoy doing. It adds a little something when you have such a basic look, but I take a little bit of Vaseline and I put it on the top of my eyelid, and it just makes it a little shiny. And then to finalize the face is my edges, and this is one of my favorite parts. You get it right, you get it right. If you get it wrong, you get it wrong. So I always try and make sure that I get it good, but I have a lot of frizzy hair on the front, so then I also, just to make sure that your hair isn't like in front of the camera or doing too much, your little baby hairs that fly around, I just comb them down a little. Okay, now it's the fun part. Just a little, nothing crazy. Because this is also a hit and miss. A lot of people don't do this. This is just something I do because I already have so much baby hairs. So what is the harm in highlighting them a little bit more? Okay. There we go. The face is ready. Okay, so my hair is done, my makeup's done. Now it's time for us to go choose our outfit for the casting. Okay, this is my final outfit. I'm about to go head out to my casting. Thank you so much for watching with me.